Darkwater here, back in Model Railway Easily. Hopefully you're having a really good day, and glad you stopped by to join us for continuing on the railroad build we've got going on here. This episode focused on the top portion of the board. Do a little bit of terrain painting here. Get a little frustrated with it just because it doesn't blend too well. Um, Once you paint one, but if you do just the natural board color, it does blend okay. Um, but do go back to that. Right now, adding a kind of a spur off of the track here to add in the coal mine, and so there's a you can add a track underneath it. So I go through, add kind of a spur off of it to allow the train to pass underneath it. Takes a little bit of doing. There we go. And so uh, get this connected. The train alternates between which one of those that it goes on. It'll for the first pass it'll go on the near one. The next one it'll go on the further one underneath the coal area here. So it took a little bit of just placement here. Then I go back through and add in some mountains behind it and do a little bit more mountains throughout the main portion of the board here. Wanted to make sure that the train did go completely underneath it, didn't like clip through or anything. Um, so do a little terrain paint on this hill. Take the hill up against the back of it, like that allows them to move some of the coal that they've drug out and be able to deposit it directly into one of the train cars. I was debating about potentially just leaving that a basically just a track on its own, and I think there's some coal cars that we can add to it. So I debated about that for a little bit, and then might go back and do that. We'll see. Dropped in the cement plant as well because I noticed I didn't actually have that one anywhere, and so that'll be something that probably in the next episode I go through and add in the road between the other one, two, three, four remaining factory buildings and get that all built out. But I add the mountain here in the back, do a little bit of paint on it, end up changing my mind and tweaking the paint a little bit more in kind of the darker fashion, and then do a bunch of trees on there as well as a lake as I'm looking for right now. Whenever I initially put it in, just kind of a little hidden lake, it doesn't sit flush, so I have to go back through and adjust the height of it of that area just a little bit, just kind of flatten it out. But it's a little kind of hidden lake. It's a nice little area that potentially we can put a couple people like they hiked up there. Debated about making it larger, but it just looked horrible, so we just went with the small little pond, threw some rocks around it. Ended up multiple clicking apparently because there's the lake and some of those rocks end up showing up elsewhere later on. So I end up having to move that. But add a bunch of trees, and after I added them, it looked really too dense. So I do start to move some of the trees out and delete them out, spread them a little bit more, just to get the denseness of it down a little bit. because even adding in some of these, it looked a little bit too dense. Do trees along the far side of the board, right next to the spurs on the left hand, well, now the top side of the board there, so that it just kind of gives the board definition, kind of where the basically where the edge is, and then do a switching station. I don't recall what it's called right now off the top of my head, but that gets put in, and the train's able to pass underneath it and do a little road in a little bit here as well. Um, in my head, I think it's going to be completing the top portion of the board in the next episode, and then one more to complete the lower portion. As at the very end of this, I pull back and realize how much there's still left to go on the lower portion. I didn't actually do all of it there. The control house. That's what I was looking for. Um, the two switch lights, I don't actually know if they go on both sides. I'm not 100% on that. Uh, I keep trying that darker dirt, and it's just never something. It doesn't work for me. I feel like it's too dark because it's like more of a muddy dirt. I do throw a pickup truck back here, cover up some of that bad paint, but also to just kind of see how it's going to look going forward. I do drop a bunch of trees now in between the factories and the back train line, as well as along the dirt road that we just added in. But I do like the way it turned out to have that little dirt path going back to the control house. Debated about adding a second freight train line up on the top portion, but I thought that might just be a little too much. Again, here I'm fighting with that terrain paint, and I still don't know if I'm 100% sold on it just yet. I might have to go through, add some small plants back there just to kind of cover out the sharp edge of it. But yeah, so again, next time we're going to be kind of focusing on the rest of the top portion of the board, connecting up the road to the rest of the factories up there, getting those squared away, and hopefully we'll have the top portion of the board finished. But yeah, appreciate you guys for being here, and look forward to seeing you then again in Model Railway Easily. And as always, I hope you guys have yourselves an amazing day.